So we're trying to set things up so that we get it a little bit more consistent. So one part of that section was some really susceptible germplasm from the U.S. mini core collection that we noticed just were just like plastered with pod rot. So we're planting that in one section. After that's been planted, we plant in our nursery or the Virginias that we're trying to test for pod rot. And then there was a section that I think had millet, and that's to kind of avoid the problem that John had with the suppressive soils. That's sort of the idea. The next section here is some recombinant inbred lines that Kelly developed for sclerotinia. She's trying to find a marker for the, or try to identify the gene for the marker that she developed. And to do that, it's a really painstaking process, many years where you develop the recombinant inbred lines. So we're screening those for resistance here. If it would cool down, hopefully we'll get some data, but there isn't much out here yet. And then all of these signs here are mostly the sclerotinia trials or the evaluations, and in addition we do the pod rot, and I think this year if we get web blotch again, we'll try to do some web blotch ratings. We've got 14 runners. 9 of those are Kelly's breeding lines. We also have Florida 07, that's our susceptible check, Georgia 09B, a new one, Georgia 14N, that's a nematode resistant line, Lariat and Tamarin OL11. For the Spanish test, we have 2 breeding lines that Kelly has developed, tested against Ole. That's basically our check. Schubert, Span 17, and we also have 3 New Mexico varieties that the New Mexico breeder, Valencia varieties that the New Mexico breeder is asking us to test for him. And then for the Virginias, we've got 7 North Carolina lines that we're testing for their potential out here. And this is the second year that we've been testing. We're testing that. We've got ACI 351, Contender, Florida Fancy, Jupiter, Sullivan, Wynn, and this is the first year for Walton, which is a North Carolina, Virginia release. Further on down, we're testing these lines from North Carolina. They're lines that were derived from a wild species cross, Arachis diogoi, that Tom Stalker, a professor who works with wild species in North Carolina State, developed. Kelly pre-screened them and then gave me the best of what she thought would work. So we've got can't remember how many, I think we have about 20 of those, and those are supposed to have really good leaf spot resistance, and eventually we'll give those on to John too to test for leaf spot resistance, but this year we're testing them for sclerotinia. And then the last project, I think you all remember this who were here maybe last year or the year before, I can't remember, but we do have a drought study that's a 3-state drought study with Texas and Virginia, where we're testing different kinds of technologies like drones, the remote controlled cart for phenotyping for drought resistance. And so that the drought part is way up over there. And then the irrigated part is over here, and we're testing 28 mini core lines that were kind of divergent, that had divergent traits, some for drought and yield, etc. And so we're trying to find, basically we're trying to find markers for drought resistance for that.